Hi, it's Roya. So I wanted to give you an update on my surrogate journey. And so far, today, well, as you know, we signed the agency agreement 2 weeks ago. And today I went ahead and spoke with Alicia. She was a part of the surrogate client services where they do the matchmaking. The fun begins that way, right? That's where it all starts. So I spoke with her. Well, let's go back a week. A week ago, she went ahead and submitted these forms for us to fill out, Greg and I. Two of them were background checks, obvious reasons what background checks are for. Um, which we passed with flying colors. Great. Then we submitted our questionnaire. So they ask you all these questions, so many questions, very detailed, and it's kind of interesting having to write down the kind of person we're looking for, what are their personalities. It's really odd because even when, I met my husband on Match.com, so even they don't ask me kind of questions like that. But anyway, um, so the surrogate process, when she asked all these questions, it was very detailed. And so you had to ask yourself, well, what am I willing to let go of? What is non-negotiable, right? What's the most important thing to you? And then they ask you really serious questions like, um, I guess prevent from any future complications, such as, are you willing to reduce a fetus or pregnancy depending on multiple pregnancies? So anyway, so I spoke with her today. We went over it together, and she asked, more detailed information. So, one of the things that they asked on the questionnaire, they just asked you generally, what kind of a surrogate are you looking for, personality-wise? And I had like a long list because I can't narrow it down. So I'm like, I want someone who's easygoing, social, all these things. So she asks, pick three. And I said, what? That's really hard. Three? It's a lot. Three is a lot. And she goes, well, I noticed that you had like 21 written down. So pick three. I'm like, okay. So I had to think about it for a while because, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, how do I get 21 things all into three descriptions or three words to describe this person? So I narrowed it down. So I chose easygoing, which I think is wonderful, someone who's responsible, and someone who is trustworthy. Because I think with all of those three things, I'll have someone who doesn't stress out as much. She's easygoing. Things come along. She handles them. When I'm freaking out, maybe hopefully I won't have a freak out moment. But, if I'm ever under a little bit of stress, or anxious, her easygoing personality will calm me down. Usually those kind of people do. Also, someone who's responsible, I don't have to worry about, is she taking her shots? Is she, walking this way or doing that? Is she lifting things? I don't have to worry because I know she's a responsible person. And someone who's trustworthy is also crucial that a lot of people, I think, leave out. And the woman today, Alicia, told me the same thing. A lot of people don't put that in there. They kind of forget how important being trustworthy is. So if I can trust her to do all of these things, I think it's kind of like cruise control, and I get to enjoy the relationship with my surrogate, which is really what it's all about, aside from her carrying our child. So those are the three. And then she asks me things like, is it important for her to be a specific religion or no religion? We chose no religion, um, because they ask you things like, it, you know, do you want to share spiritual guidance, like a specific religion that you guys want to share together? And then, one thing they did say is there something that you do not want to have in a surrogate? And I said, I don't want someone who is very political, um, and is very opinionated and wanting to share her political viewpoints. Um, so that was really it. I mean, I'm kind of, my husband and I, we talk politics. There are a lot of things that we kind of discuss and enjoy having debates over and so forth, but it's not something that we want to have that kind of conversation with our surrogate. I guess it's pretty clear why somebody like us would want to do that. But that was really pretty much it. Oh, and then she asks about lifestyle, right? What kind of diet restrictions should she have or anything like that? And, you know, I want someone who's healthy. In the beginning of this process, when we started it, I wanted her to be gluten-free, organic, all of these things, like, have a very clean diet. Me personally, I'm gluten-free. I try to have a clean diet as much as possible by avoiding dairy as much as possible. Most of my food is organic. I avoid sugar as much as possible, like those kind of things, right? On occasion, I'll have something sweet or what have you, but overall, I'm a pretty healthy eater, and everyone around me knows that. And so I just kind of wanted my surrogate to kind of have the same lifestyle. And it's interesting because when we were doing, when Greg and I were interviewing agencies before we chose this one, they were all telling us how our request of a healthy surrogate was a little difficult, and it's going to be challenging to find one that has a healthy lifestyle. Wouldn't somebody think that maybe that the fact that I'm asking for a healthy surrogate is a normal question for an intended parent to ask for? Wouldn't that be just a standard thing? I mean, other than, of course, the coffee and the alcohol and the drugs and that kind of smoking, that I get. But I'm talking about just eating right? Not eating a Wendy's every week as part of your meal, for you and your family, or something that's on a regular basis. I'm not dissing anyone who does. I don't want to say anything negative about their lifestyle. It has nothing to do with that. It's just me personally, the surrogate that I would like to have, someone that I could share that with. We have that thing in common. So they're telling me how this is kind of difficult, and it's almost, one agency said it was a bit demanding. Who would have thought that asking for your surrogate to be eating healthy would be a demanding request or high maintenance? Anyway, and then one person's like, well, define your definition of healthy. And I'm like, well, what does healthy mean? I mean, what do you think it means? My husband's like, well, she has a point. Not everyone's definition of healthy is the same. I said, all right, fine. I'm like, all right, well then, no sugar, doesn't have soda and like sugary drinks and potato chips and Fritos and all these things in their home. Like, this is what they do, eat, snack on, eating fried meats and foods and those kind of things. Eating pizza and hamburgers and fries, and you get the idea, right? As a part of their regular diet. It's one thing to have it on occasion, like every few months or, once in a blue moon. Okay, have some fun. But to have that as part of your whole diet, I don't know. I'm kind of not for that for me personally. So that was my definition of what a non-healthy diet would be. So after I spoke to Alicia today, she understood where I was coming from. So she didn't think that was a far-fetched request or something crazy. Now that I clarified it for her and explained what it means to me and what my definition of healthy is, so she understood it. I guess they were thinking healthy, like she has to eat organic, And I said, someone who eats at a Whole Foods. She goes, I'm gonna stop you right there. She's like, most of the surrogates, you're not gonna be finding them shopping at Whole Foods. I said, okay, fine, but you could find a salad and healthy foods at Walmart too. So it's okay. Anyway, so we figured that out. We cleared that out, and then they go into things. Okay, so passing that, so they go into questions like, are you okay if you're having triplets or twins? I said twins we're okay with. And she's like, so the surrogate has to be okay with that. I said, well, of course. And then she says, okay, how do you feel about having triplets? I said, well, I love triplets. I don't mind having triplets. I mean, do we really want triplets? No. But if we're given triplets, then we're having triplets. But I said, the health of the surrogate is most important because, without our health, we won't have a healthy child, right? So her health comes first. And of course it's the doctor's, with the doctor involved. So it's the baby's health, her health, and the doctor's decision or choices to give us advice on what to do and to kind of go along with that. But she should be okay if we decide to reduce. We want it to be our choice. So you have a say in all of that. And they talk about uh, other questions like, do you want to? Oh, this is interesting. They ask, do you want to continue your relationship after the delivery? And a lot of people, even me, myself, I was like, no, I wouldn't want to have a relationship after the delivery, And a lot of people, she told me to start off saying the same thing, but it doesn't always end up that way because, you're sharing this journey with someone because you want to be in contact with them. Like I want to be in contact with them on a weekly basis. And we could put that in the contract that we could talk at least once a week via Skype, Facebook, text messaging, phone calls, whatever. And as much as we want to, the both of us. So she's like, you're sharing this journey with someone for 9 months. How can you not develop a strong bond and friendship with someone on a weekly basis for 9 months, really 10 months, right? For 10 months, and then not be friends with them after they delivered your baby? And I thought about it, and my husband and I are like, no, 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 no. We're going to stay friends with her. If we become friends with her and her husband and her family, then she's going to be, our friend. Doesn't mean we have to see her every day or anything like that, but no, but she's an important person to us. And I thought about it, and I said, yeah, I'm that kind of person who's going to want to have that relationship with her, and I'm okay with our kids later on in life, as they get older, to know that, she delivered. So what? I think in 10 years, 15, 20 years from now, it's going to be such a common thing that doesn't really matter. It's not taboo. It's not something to be ashamed of, and really that's pretty much it. In the end, it's really about your relationship with your child and, and what you want to do with that information. So anyway, those are the questions that she was asking. And of course, there are others like they would ask about us, like, how do you handle conflict? All these things. So I think we answered it pretty well. Now it's going to take 2 to 4 months to find someone for us, and we'll see. And then she's going to present us with a surrogate and see what we think. And then if we like her, and we get to meet, and then we have 24 hours each to see if we like each other. Both the husbands, that all of us meet, all of us, not just us two. So it'll be really exciting to see what they offer, who they have for us, and we'll see. And until then, I'm going to still keep updates and posting things, and I hope you enjoy. All right, so these are things that I learned today, and I'm glad I got to share it with you. All right, you have a great night.